So we have 1 month left until the end of the year and you can still make it count. Hi, if you're new here, I'm Ayana Charles and this is a personal development channel where I will be giving you tips to become the best version of yourself. Now let's get on with the video. Okay, so the video will be broken up into 5 parts. I will list the timestamps in the description down below. Now, remember that these are just some tips for, certain areas in your life that maybe you want to start working on before the new year. Remember, you want to just try and use December as a head start for your goals for 2025. Don't be upset if nothing turns out the way you want it to. That's the whole point of starting now. It's so you can start building those habits before the new year. Remember, it takes about 21 days? That's like almost 3 weeks for you to start building a habit, and that's just enough time to start trying to actively build those habits that you want for the new year. So that means if you want to start going to the gym next year, start that now if you can. Even if it's not every single day, just trying to go 10 minutes a day, that matters. As long as you keep trying every single day, that's all that matters. It doesn't matter if maybe necessarily you do super good today. Even if you just do one thing differently than you did yesterday, that's all that matters. If that means going to sleep earlier, if that means eating better today, you just want to try to make sure that you are one step ahead from where you were yesterday. Okay, so now for part 1 of this video, which is finances. Now, please take note, I am not a financial advisor, but here's some things you may want to start doing before the new year. So one of those things that you may want to do is budgeting. Of course, you're going to definitely need to do it this month, especially with getting Christmas gifts and probably wanting to do things with your friends or going out or trips and stuff, and the new year approaching. So you definitely want to make sure that you are budgeting. You don't want to spend money that you do not have. Not only that, but you probably have a lot of goals financially, or just goals in general that obviously are probably in some way going to include finances, whether that be meal prepping, saving, paying off bills. Before you start spending your money, you want to make sure you actually have the money to spend on these extra things. So just with budgeting, you want to make a list of all the things that you need to pay. So yes, bills, monthly bills, like your phone bill, rent, groceries, and try to include necessities too. So that means maybe monthly you get your hair done, include that too in your budgeting. If you want to get your nails done, or if that's something that you're just like a non-negotiable, include that too. Include all these things, Wi-Fi, all that, right? And then once you have that leftover amount, figure out how much you can put towards your savings, how much you can put towards your goals, and how much you could put away just for extra to spend on yourself. But once you know that number, you know not to overspend or overdo it, because you would hate to start the new year thinking that you have all this money. Maybe some people might be getting raises next year. You don't want to sit there and think you have all this money or whatever, and you really don't. So before the new year, if you're not budgeting, that's something that you want to make sure you start doing. Another thing you may want to do is trying to have an emergency fund. I think trying to have like at least $1,000 in an emergency fund is a good way to start off. Remember, of course, it's probably going to take time, but if you don't have an emergency fund, it's best to start one and figure out how much money you could put into it, either each month or each week, just in case anything happens or there's an emergency, or maybe your car breaks down, or maybe you need gas, or maybe you need groceries and you don't have enough. That is what your emergency fund is for. Of course, don't try to dip in there if you don't need to. Don't dip in there because you decided to spend your rent money on things that you shouldn't have, and now you want to touch your emergency fund. That's not what it's for. So yeah, figure out your budget, and then figure out if maybe that means putting $20 a month into it, or $5, or whatever, but put something in there. It may not seem like a lot, but over time it's gonna build. Even if you're putting $20 in there every month, at least you'll know, in 6 months you'll have $100, which I know it may not be what you want, but you have $100 more than what you had before, right? So yeah, you want to just try to do that. Also, I forgot where I seen this at, but I seen someone say how like they felt like every time they try to build up their emergency funds, it feels like something always happens, right? And they get annoyed because they always have to take from it. And then the other person was like, well, aren't you like at least glad that you have an emergency fund to take from, and you don't have to use your money that was supposed to be spent on maybe yourself or maybe other bills, having to use that to go towards these emergencies, right? So, you know, of course, try to have that $1,000 goal, but if you don't necessarily make it because stuff is happening, you actually need to take from it. I understand being upset, but don't be too upset, because that's the whole point of the emergency fund, to help you in case of an emergency. So just don't be too hard on yourself. Actually, you should just be proud that you even have that in place, just in case something happened and you're able to use it for its purpose. Another thing you want to try to do before the new year is cut out unnecessary spending. Try to make that a habit now. That's something that I'm trying to do as well. Like, okay, if you always want to go to Starbucks, try to figure out how to make your own stuff at home. You can get your cups, get some cute little plastic cups or whatever, get the stuff to make the coffee at home. If you want to make matcha, they have cold foam, I think, at Target that you can use. Get espresso, figure it out. But you're gonna save a lot of money by doing it yourself at home than always going out. And it might taste a little bit better, who knows? Unnecessary subscriptions. Let's say you have like Disney Plus, Netflix, you have all these different subscriptions, right? But ask yourself, which ones do you actually use and which ones do you not? Because you don't want to be sitting there like, I hate, or like you would hate to just have money automatically pulled out for something that you don't even use. That's the worst, because that money could have been used towards anywhere else, something else. It could have been used for yourself. It could have been used to put into your savings, anything else. If your phone bill is like too high, figure out how to cut that down. Maybe that means switching providers. Maybe that means, I don't know, getting a cheaper phone, figuring out ways to, you know, cut out unnecessary spending. Let's say the gym, right? I know the gym I go to is $60. If one way that I want to save money or, you know, cut out unnecessary spending is maybe switching to a gym that's only $10. Like, I know Crunch is 10, but I like InShape just because of like all the extra perks. Like, they have classes and the weight room, and I like the locker room and the showers and the pool and stuff like that. I just like, I don't know, I like InShape, so I don't mind spending that extra. But you see what I'm saying? Sometimes, you know, you may want to cut out in other areas so that you can kind of give a little more to something else. Another thing you may want to start doing is paying off debt if you have any debt. I know some people talk about the snowball method or whatever, like paying off the lowest amount and then eventually, you know, going up to like the highest debt. But I'm gonna just say this: if you have debt, you know, you need to pay it off. As much as you may want to try and like turn away or like not pay it off, or think like if you just don't look at it or don't worry about it, it's not going to be there. It's always going to be there, and it's going to be hard for you to move further in life if you still have that debt. And this also kind of ties into like trying to build credit, right? You're not going to be able to, you know, do as much or get as much if your credit, you know, isn't right and you still have that debt. So it's best for this month, if you do have it, to try and figure out a plan to start paying off that debt now and in the new year, trying to find out a plan. And that's why it's also good to budget, to figure out how much do you actually have, how much can you put towards paying off that debt. And then you can start, maybe get a financial counselor and try to figure out ways to make that happen. Another thing I just wanted to say is, if you want to save money, I seen this thing, it was like a 100 envelope challenge or something. It's like 100 envelopes. You write like 1 to 100 on the envelopes, and I guess like on the first envelope it says 1, you put in $1, then you put 2, then 3, then 4, right? And I guess you're supposed to try to do that like every day, and I think it's supposed to like come up to like $5,000. If that works for you when it comes to saving and you would want to do that, and it's like a fun little way for you to save, that's something that you may want to do. If, I don't know, if saving isn't good, or if you don't like the thought of thinking like, oh my God, I have to keep putting away this certain amount every time, then I don't know, it's like a little game. Do the little envelope challenge. Okay, so now for part 2 of the video, which is setting boundaries and saying no. It's important for you to protect your peace and your time. Don't say yes to something that you don't want to do, because over time, it's only gonna make you resentful. And remember, it's always easier for you to change your no to a yes than to change your yes to a no. And I know it's tough, so try to get into the habit of saying either no or maybe. Because you don't want to be the person that's like always like, yes, I'll do that, yes, I'll do that, yes, I'll do that. And then you realize like, oh wait, I can't. I don't have the time. Or you're just tired and you don't want to do the thing. And then now you have to go back on your word and be like, yeah, I know I said I could do that, but I actually can't. You know what I'm saying? Or if someone's inviting you places, you know, instead of just being like, yeah. Say, okay, well, let me look, or maybe, even if they're trying to push you, because you're saying yes, and you don't even know if you got the funds, you don't even know if you got the time. And then some people, they feel like they don't want to let them down, and they already said yes, so they're gonna do it, even though it's probably gonna hold them back in time, hold them back in money. So that's why I feel like next year, I said for me, well, I don't know if it's a goal, but just I want to start saying no more, not saying yes to everything, and just being very more intentional with what I'm saying yes to, not just saying yes to everything, you know. But saying no doesn't have to necessarily be a bad thing. You can maybe just start saying no to like, no, I don't want to go out like that. And maybe it might seem bad or messed up. If people think like that, then that's on them. But you may be saying no because you know that you have financial goals. You know you can't go out like that. You know you don't want to eat out as much because you have goals to maybe get fit, and you don't want to do that because maybe going out triggers you, or you know that when you go out, you don't have self-control. So it's just easier to say no altogether. That's okay. You know what is best for you. That's why I say just try to get into the habit of saying no. If you're like, you know, like a people pleaser like me, I feel like I'm a people pleaser. And so I say yes to everything, saying yes to things that even I don't want to do. And so that's why, you know, I said trying to get, you know, into the habit of saying no, or just maybe like just thinking about something before you just automatically say yes. Because I will say yes to things that I don't want to do, and then I'm mad that I did all these things, and it's like, you didn't have to, you know? And it may feel uncomfortable, but it's like, you know, you got to do what's best for you, you know? Remember, you probably have goals that you want to hit, and in order for you to hit those goals, that means sacrificing something, and that means saying no to something. Whether that be saying no to staying up late to talk to people, whether that means saying no to hanging out with people because you just don't have the time. You're gonna have to do these certain things in order to get where you want to be at. So yeah, remember, if you want to lock in for the next year, learn how to say no. Okay, so now for part 3 of the video, which is eating habits and lifestyle. So I'm just trying to cover like every single thing I think that maybe you should try to just work on, maybe like in the new year, for you to become your better self. And I only mention like the eating habits because I feel like I have had that problem, and who knows, other people may have that problem too. Some people may be more self-disciplined, some people may not. That's okay. Maybe, you know, now this month, what you may want to try to work on is portion control, right? And not like overeating. Some people, I think, like, some people don't like meal prep or plan out their meals for the day. Some people might like want to snack all day, but that's not good because all those calories add up. I think there's like a calculator or something that you can look up, like, I don't know if it's BMI or something, you put in your weight and stuff, and it tells you how many calories you can eat like in a day. And I actually did it, and then I realized, like, once I actually started counting calories, because I didn't want to do that, but I started realizing, like, dang, every day I'm eating 2,000 calories. Like, no wonder I'm not losing weight. So I suggest either meal prepping, or if you're gonna eat meals, don't be going out eating fast food all the time, because eating fast food, especially like imagine if you're getting fast food 2 or 3 times out of the day, right? That's like almost 2,000 calories. And then you're still drinking soda. Eating snacks, eating sweets. You still got dinner. That's like almost 3,000 calories in a day. So portion control, meal prep, make sure that you're, for one, in the morning, have a nice, big, fulfilling breakfast. I'm not saying it has to be really big, but like having eggs, avocado, some sausage, maybe water with it, have some fruits, right? Another thing is to just try to take small steps. You know, trying to eat better and stuff, all of that isn't going to happen overnight. But some things that you may want to do is like drink more water. One thing I was doing was like, for one, in the morning, try to make sure I had a nice breakfast that filled me up. So I'd have like oatmeal and then like sausage with it. And then I'd have like water with it, right? But for some people, they don't like drinking straight up water. Like, I mean, for me, water's okay, but what I like to do is add like lemon to my water, because I don't know, I feel like it just makes it like just taste a little bit better. It adds a little bit of flavoring and it's not like sweet, you know? Another thing you could do is try to cut back on processed foods, not eating a whole bunch of like TV dinners. But I mean, hey, if you want to have the healthy choice or whatever, if that works for you, that's okay. But just try to still incorporate some fresh foods into your diet or your meal. Another thing you could try doing is, you know, try not to eat out as much. There's nothing wrong with eating out, but like 5 days out of the week, going out to eat, trying not to do that. And if that's something you do now and it's hard, I understand, it's okay. But this is, remember when I said saying no? This is why you just need to, at some point, tell yourself no, at least one day. It starts with one no. And then, you know, go home, make your own food. And then you realize, okay, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that hard. And then you know what you do the next day? Say no. Tell yourself, no, I'm not going to do that. And just try to keep doing that. I think, at least for me, it makes things a little easier with like telling myself, like, you know what, I'm going to make sure that I eat at home throughout the days that I work, and then the days that I'm off, yeah, I'll give myself, I guess, permission to go out to eat if I wanted to. If, like, let's say I'm hanging out with friends or something like that. Just, of course, don't overdo it. So yeah, just do that. Trying to eat more fruits, because fruits, I don't think they really have calories, or it's like low, you know. So having things like grapes and strawberries, if you want something sweet, right, but you don't want to rack up them calories, that's something that you can also do. And then another thing is cutting out alcohol. For one, it's just unnecessary spending. It's not good, especially if you're trying to lose weight or you're trying to be fit and stuff. Just alcohol, drinking that all the time isn't good for you too. So cut that out. Aside from meals and stuff, some other things you want to do when it comes to at least lifestyle now is just making sure that you get enough sleep. That means trying to get like 7 to 8 hours of sleep. I say 10 at most, but at least between 7 to like, I guess, 10 hours of sleep, trying to get yourself that. You want to make sure that you have the best rest so that you can wake up the next day energized, have a nice good breakfast to work your full, so that, like I said, you have energy. And then drinking water to help curb those cravings you may have throughout the day until you were able to have your lunch, which, you know, try to have a nice lunch. Some other things you could do is trying to go on walks. I know maybe now may not be great because I know it's like all foggy and cold and stuff, but going on walks or going on the treadmill or doing at-home exercises. You can even add reading to your routine. And then also just making sure that you have a good morning and night routine. And also what I like to do is plan out my day, like the next day. Because I feel like if I don't plan out my day and I kind of just be like, oh, yeah, I know, I remember, you end up missing something, forgetting something, or you're just not on time with certain things. So just write down an outline of what it is that you're going to do the next day. You don't have to do it to the T, but I like to, like, I have a whiteboard and I like to be like, okay, tomorrow I want to wake up at this time and I want to do these things and get these things done. If I'm going to go to the store, write a grocery list. And I like it because it makes me be more intentional about my time the next day, and it lets me know this is what I'm doing, this is what I need to do. No, you don't necessarily have to follow it, but it's just like there's a reason why you wrote that stuff down, because it's things that you need to do. And it's not like, and it helps so that you're not just waking up the next day thinking, oh, I have all the time in the world to just do whatever. No, you know, like, well, on this list, these are things that I can get done once I wake up and get up at this time. I know I can go to the car wash. I know I can do some laundry. I know I can do these things, right? I just kind of like being organized about my day, but yeah. And then, yeah, back to the alcohol thing. If that's hard, or some of these habits, like cutting out smoking or drinking or whatever, or if some of these things are hard, you know, just try to slowly replace these habits with other habits. And I know it's kind of hard, it's going to take time, but like maybe journaling, writing about your journey, right? Writing about maybe how it's hard. One thing I like is like drinking, like they have sparkling grape juice. I like that because I guess to me, I feel like it reminds me of wine, but it's not, because it doesn't have the alcohol in it, but it's still sparkly and grape juice anyways, you know, it just doesn't have the alcohol. Maybe drinking tea, listening to music, having some snacks, at least healthier snacks, right? Like I like rice cakes because like they're like, what, 50 calories each? They have chocolate, they have caramel, apple cinnamon. And if some of these things are hard, also just trying to join support groups. One goal that I am working on to feel better is making sure that I'm like meal prepping and just eating better, honestly, and not eating too much. Okay, so now for part 4 of the video, which is fashion and lifestyle. So you need to figure out what is your like style moving into 2025. You may not have, you know, a budget or the money for it yet, and that's okay, but you want to know what it is that you want your style to be moving forward into the new year, so that when you see certain items, you know what to get, so you're not just wasting your money just buying whatever you like, right? Because you may like something, but if you have a certain style, you don't want to buy clothes that don't match with anything else in your closet. So one thing I suggest is maybe making a Pinterest board and adding like different outfits, you know, of the style that you want in the new year. If you want to dress like chic or classy or girly or tomboyish or whatever, add those pictures to, you know, a board so you can kind of get like an idea of what type of style you want moving into the new year. Another thing is trying to figure out what are your signature scents, right? Do you like fruity smells? Do you like for me, I like coconut, vanilla, sandalwood, like musk or husk. I don't know which one's called, but that like bergamot, right? Magnolia. I like those scents. Figure out what are your scents, and if you can, at some point, try to invest in at least one good perfume. One good perfume, so that can be your scent, right? You don't want to be all over the place, but figure out what your scents are, so that, you know, when people smell certain scents, they know, oh, that's that person. That reminds me of this person, because they always have this scent, you know? Another thing in this time, if you can, especially since it's cold and you don't have to worry about the heat and stuff like that, this is a perfect time to practice makeup if you're into that, or even just practicing like a good skincare routine, right? But yeah, this is the perfect time to just practice makeup, figuring out what is your signature look going to be. Like, I guess this for me is like my go-to signature look, kind of. I like putting on earrings, lashes. I don't really do my eyebrows because I usually get them threaded. A nice gloss or something, some eyeliner, foundation, boom, that's it. A little blush, and then that's it. But figure out what is going to be your signature makeup look. Maybe you like having like the wings or whatever, right? That's good, that's you. Figure out what your look is. And then also figure out what is it that you are willing to invest in yourself. Maybe that's getting your hair done. Maybe that means getting your nails done. Maybe that just means buying press-ons, right? To make sure your nails and stuff look good. And then even if you can't invest in that, like just investing in trying to learn how to maybe do your own nails or do your hair. Also, when I was talking about like signature looks, you can also try to figure out maybe a signature hair look as well. And just know this, even if you just have your hair in a bun, that's okay too. That can make you look very sleek, nice and classy. And there's nothing wrong with just having like a signature look, looking, I don't know, a certain way, having your hair done a certain way, having your staple look. Or if you want to be all over the place, that's cool and stuff too, but it's nice to just have that staple kind of look. Some other things you may want to do is just making sure that you practice good posture, not being hunched over, standing up straight, making sure that you are putting lotion on, deodorant, and spray, okay? You do not want to be musty in the wintertime. That's embarrassing. So making sure you're putting on deodorant, making sure you are moisturizing, especially since it's cold, right? You don't want to be all ashy and stuff in your skin or whatever, all like cracking when it comes to brushing your teeth, right? You want to make sure you're brush at nighttime too, right? Just because, you know, you're eating, doing all this stuff throughout the day. Brush at nighttime, make sure you're flossing, right? I also recommend getting like a tongue scraper. So like what I like to do, I brush my teeth, get the tongue scraper, wash my mouth out, floss, and even get some gum. I feel like that'd be the cherry on top too. Okay, and now for the last part of this video, number 5, which is internal work. Remember that glowing up externally starts with glowing up internally. So maybe that means getting therapy if that's something that you need. There's different platforms that you can use. I know you can use BetterHelp. BetterHelp is really nice. It's pretty affordable. I think it's like $65 a week in order to do it. But then again, you don't even have to pay every week. If you want to just do the therapy for every 2 weeks, then do that. If you want to just do it once a month, that's okay. But investing in yourself, and especially your mental health, that's important. If you can do that. But then again though, you know, if that's not an option, that's okay. That's why I always mention journaling, because with journaling, if you have a lot of stuff going on, just writing down your emotions, it can help you identify what the problems are. Not only that, but it can help you free yourself from all of those negative thoughts and those things that may be weighing in your mind. I'm not saying it's gonna fix everything, but maybe it might, like I said, help you identify the problems. Like looking back, seeing like, wow, like maybe I do a lot of negative self-talk, or maybe I'm not spending well, right? It's gonna help you be more self-aware because you're writing this stuff down. You may not like it at first, but try to incorporate writing even just a few sentences into, you know, your day-to-day life. And eventually, as time goes on, you'll start liking it. Another thing you may want to start doing is just practicing daily affirmations. Remember that doing affirmations, it helps promote a positive mindset and positive self-talk, and it helps reinforce these beliefs. Not only that, but it helps encourage a growth mindset, and it helps boost motivation. Remember to practice gratitude and try to build self-love by celebrating all of the small wins that you make this month, whether that be just eating better, going to sleep on time, being more intentional about what it is that you're doing in your day-to-day life, coming up with a budget, figuring out a way to pay off your debt. And lastly, something else that you can do before the new year is come up with a mission statement. So this is just something that you can say daily to stay aligned with your intentions and remind yourself of what truly matters. So how to create a mission statement? First, you want to identify your core values. So maybe that's resilience, creativity, compassion, right? Next, you want to clarify your goals, right? So that could be personal goals, career, finance, lifestyle. The third thing you want to do is focus on the why, right? So why are these goals meaningful to you, right? And how do they align with your larger vision for your life? Number 4, right? You want to keep it concise, a few sentences that capture your vision, right? You want to make it memorable but impactful. And then the last thing to create a mission statement is making it personal, right? So make sure that it resonates with you on a personal level. So you can have, if you want a kind of longer mission statement, that's okay. If you want a short one, that's okay too. What I do want to do is like maybe go on Canva, type out my mission statement, take a screenshot, go to Walmart, and then get that printed out. And then I want to add that onto my vision board so that every day I can see my mission statement in the center of my board and read it out loud every day. Just to like I said, stay aligned with your goals so you can remember, like, this is what I want to be. This is what I want to step into. And it kind of reminds you, like, are you doing what you said you were going to do in that mission statement, right? So here's a short little mission statement of mine. My mission for 2025 is to nurture my well-being, make intentional financial choices, and dedicate time to my passions while staying disciplined and balanced. I do have a longer one. I guess I'll read that too, just to give you ideas if you want a longer one. In 2025, I'm dedicated to stepping into my full potential and taking charge of my well-being. I will prioritize health and fitness by focusing on nutritious, home-cooked meals and regular exercise. I'm committed to adapting a disciplined mindset to build financial stability, save more, and I will grow through learning new skills and pursuing my passions. Embracing change, I will push myself to go beyond what I thought was possible, continually striving to become the best version of myself. That's my longer one. Okay, so we've reached the end of this video. Remember that glowing up is about progress and self-love. If this video helped you, please leave a like and subscribe. And please comment down below, what are your goals for 2025? And what will you do this month to get a head start? Until then, I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Bye.